This meeting will be conducted as a hybrid meeting as follows. Town council members, designated staff, invited presenters, and members of the press attend in person or remotely. Public access to the meeting will be limited to join this meeting as follows. Limited number of people in person. Public attendee will be permitted based upon the reduced capacity of the meeting room pursuant to the governor's executive orders. All members of the public may attend remotely as follows: via computer, tablet, smartphone, or via computer via person at a different. Okay, after that, consent calendar. Are there any objections to me passing the consent calendar?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can we add to the motion to add to the agenda under communications, by email to the council dated March 5th, 2021, entitled 3/8/21 Town Council Regular Meeting Communication as a communication to council.
That's going to be a Q. Okay, A through Q. Do we need a motion on that? All in favor of that motion? That amendment?
Second, and
Okay, all in favor of it? So it passes 8-0. Okay, going on, any public participation?
Madam Chair?
Yep.
I just confirm that you've passed the consent calendar?
Sure.
We have that. I just wasn't sure if I heard it, so I just want to make sure it was passed and it's.
It was passed with an amendment.
No, that was
the amendment.
communications.
Communication.
We went on to communications.
But we don't need to vote for that.
Yeah, we just passed Q. Some hours added.
Before we went on to communications, I did not hear that you said you had passed the consent calendar. I just wanted to confirm that that was done.
Yes.
Yes, we passed.
And calendar was good.
Okay, excellent,
Right,
thanks.
Jason? Yeah.
I just wanted to confirm, no worries.
Okay.
No worries.
Right, public participation, none. On to appointments.
Madam Chair, if
Yes.
we could just pose public participation to the board, just in case there are a good amount of people on. I just want to make sure that we give enough of an
Okay.
chance for, if there is anybody, not saying there is, but
Anybody wish to be on public participation? Nobody? Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you. Closing public participation. Going on to appointments. A, Resolution 2119. Mrs. Martin, I'm assuming you'll do that?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I would move to ask this council to approve the appointment of Barbara Leone Dembren. It's a hyphenated last name, 54 Lovers Lane, for a term ending October 12th, 2021.
Okay, do you hear a second?
second.
Second by Mr. Mauer. Discussion?
Yes, Mrs. Leone Dembren is a 23-year resident of Monroe. She's a retired RN and a trial attorney. She's privately tutors both math and piano, previously taught debate and constitutional law and American government to high school students for competition. Currently is teaching ESL, which is English as a second language, and citizenship classes. And she'll be filling a vacancy created by Lauren Gadamer.
Okay, any other discussion? So all in favor of this appointment?
Aye.
Okay, so it passes 8-0. Thank you. B, Resolution 21-25, to consider and act upon the resolution to appoint Krista DeLeo of 9 Blueberry Lane to the Board of Ethics for term ending January 1st, 2023. So actually, I said it for you. Go ahead, Mrs.
Actually did it. So can I now say so moved?
Sure, you can. You can be the second.
We'll second that then.
You're the second discussion, Mrs. Martin?
Krista DeLeo formerly has been on the library board, long-term Monroe resident and activist in the schools, parents council, and she's filling a vacancy to January 1, 2022.
Okay, any other discussion?
I just wanted to let you know, Madam Chair, that Mr. Leo did come into LNA, and after some extensive interviewing, it was very enlightening, and the guys had good questions. The two councilmen that are in LNA with me had great questions for her, so I think it was a robust discussion, and she did pass consensus to move to council. Obviously, that's why we're talking about Mr. Leo right now.
Okay, thank you. So we're voting on this resolution. All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Fine, that passes 8-0. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair,
Yes,
Mr. Leo is here, may I?
certainly.
Since she is physically present? Got to be socially distanced swearing in. So, do you solemnly swear or solemnly and sincerely affirm, as the case may be, that you will faithfully discharge, according to law, your duties as a member of the Board of Ethics to the best of your abilities, so help you God, or on penalty of perjury?
I do.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Turn the top sheet, the first part, and give it to me tonight. Thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, going on to action items. Martin, do you have anything on Park and Rec?
I do not. They met last Monday, but we were in our budget session, so I didn't attend that.
Okay, thank you.
Madam
Going on to-
Chair, Madam
Sure.
Chair,
Sure,
can we report on FEPS?
sure, certainly. Go right ahead.
Just to put in the minutes that we met last week, FEPS met last week to discuss the full-time finance position between the Board of Ed and the town, and it is still under discussion, but we did meet to, we have a plan laid out for that position.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Aguilar. On to Kevin Reed, Town Council Committee on Legislative and Administrative Matters.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. We did meet, obviously. We interviewed Mr. Leo as item A. We went through a series of other ones that are all on our agenda tonight. So every one of those had met with a discussion in LNA and passed to go to council tonight. So we could not have to say that in each one.
Okay. Anything else?
Strategic planning, yeah. Can I talk about strategic planning?
Yeah, strategic planning.
So strategic planning, we're going to have a couple small updates from the first selectmen's report on the capital budget. Just a couple minor changes that I'll leave to the first selectman to talk about. But one thing I want to talk about for strategic planning is what we haven't been able to do because of COVID was we haven't been able to meet on our quarterly basis. The idea is for us to try to meet quarterly to be able to really understand what the current projects are and how they're progressing, and also any new projects that might come in, so we're not looking at this yearly. So obviously due to COVID, we have not had those, but just know moving forward, that's going to be the plan. Every quarter to meet to go over current and upcoming plans that could be coming up new that's not going to be surprised on us a year later or 9 months later. So just know that'll be the plan as we move forward on this.
Okay. No one else on action items. I had spoken to people. So going on to unfinished, first select update.
Madam Chair,
Yep.
I'm sorry. Can I ask the first selectman a question on one of the action items? I don't know if it's appropriate since Mr. Rooney is not here, since Councilman Rooney is not here.
You can ask Mrs. Aguilar. If Mr. Kellogg can't answer it, then we'll wait for Mr. Rooney.
I'm just looking at, I looked up this week when our STEEP grant was given, and it was given in 2015. So I'm just wondering if there's any update as to whether or not we are still going to receive that since it's past the 5 years.
Yes, I've had more than one conversation with the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, which is the agency that is managing that grant for OPM. He's confirmed that we are eligible for a 1-year extension due to COVID. And I'm just attempting to connect with him in terms of the administrative process to get that done.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Selectman. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Kellogg?
Thank you. So my report tonight, COVID updates, case rates are have been pretty consistent last couple of rolling 2-week windows, about 2.5 new cases per day. Our vaccination rates are right in par with state averages. We have about 17% of a little more than 17% of the population vaccinated, or at least started the process. They've had one or more. We heard last week the state was looking to stand up another mass vaccination site in the greater Bridgeport area. We don't have a whole lot of more information about that. It's a very fluid situation, but obviously if that becomes available, we'll let everyone know. The state has advised all the local health departments at the current point to focus on educators, child care providers, such as daycares, and the previously scheduled clinics for second doses. We, obviously, the town and the health department and everyone else involved are eager to continue offering vaccinations, but we are currently limited based upon the vaccine we receive in this direction. As always, we encourage everyone to look for all the other options that are available. They continue to expand. So they're all available on our website or linked to other providers from our website. And I encourage people to find use any means they can to look for other options if we can't fit them in the near term. We are continuing to post our standby list every Monday morning. It goes live usually between 8 and 8:30. I think the standby slots filled up in about 2.5 minutes this morning. The governor did announce. What's that? Nope, I thought someone was asking a question. Last week, the governor did announce a significant amount of restrictions that would be relaxed. Mask rules, social distancing rules will remain in force, but all the capacity limits will be eliminated for most venues like restaurants and personal services, gyms, etc. The restaurants will continue to have an 8-person table capacity and 11 o'clock closing time for the dining room. Gathering sizes will be expanded in private residence for 25 indoors or 100 outdoors. Commercial venues, 100 indoors, 200 outdoors. Sports are all allowed to practice and compete. Tournaments will be allowed. And the travel advisory, which is currently a mandate, will be changed to a recommendation. Again, that's as of March 19th. Our emergency management team met this morning to discuss future changes to town operations based upon the March 19th changes. So we will be finalizing that and making more announcements next week. And he also opened up fishing season early. So fishing is available at Great Howell Lake once the ice melts, which I think by tomorrow it will be. It's supposed to be pretty warm. Close. I also want to make note that I'm sure folks saw that on the federal level, the American Rescue Plan was passed, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of funding coming down at the federal level. There are some briefings tomorrow being conducted by the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, which we'll be attending to get more information, but more to come on that. But in the end of the day, it sounds like a significant amount of funds coming into Connecticut and a lot that will come directly to Monroe, but stand by because I don't have enough details to share with you in terms of final amounts or how they can be used, but that will be forthcoming as well. I also handed out the revised budget schedule that is based upon our earlier discussion at the last special meeting that presuming that the additional tentative meetings will not be needed, presuming that you wrap things up tonight. So that's what's reflected there. That's the only change. At the last budget workshop meeting, there was a question during public participation that the chair asked that I research. It had to do with the lifespan of the large public works vehicles. So the answer is that the vehicles have a lifespan of roughly 15 years, give or take. However, the cost to repair and maintain them rise significantly after 10 years, which is why our replacement schedule is the way it is. I do have a couple of updates to capital that I think when you get to the budget line in your agenda. I can go over more detail because I know there is a revised capital list based upon the meeting that was held with strategic planning. There's a couple of updates to firefighting equipment in terms of numbers, and there are two projects that I want to update the council on. One was the gazebo roof, and one was a town hall project that I wanted to make sure the council was aware of as well. So I can go over that when we get to the budget. There is a item on new business regarding the pay plan, and I just wanted to I handed out to everybody the resolution that I proposed, 2128, a slight revision simply to add and effective July 1st, 2021 at the end of that.
Did they get that too?
What's that?
Did you get that too?
No, probably not. So it's a simple addition after the end of that, the resolution as it's currently written, 2128. I asked that when this is introduced that you just add and effective July 1st, 2021 to the end of it, so we're clear on when the intent was for that to take effect. And I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No unfinished business, so going on to new business. A, Resolution 21-26, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding the C special use license for the multi-use trail project. Mr. O'Rourke?
I move for the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution number 21-26, resolved that Kenneth M. Kellogg, first selectman of the town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on the behalf of the town of Monroe the special use license and any associated documents by and between the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection for temporary access to state property to facilitate final design of the multi-use trail project.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Alan Formicella, second.
Alan Formicella, second. Okay, discussion, Mr. Kellogg?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as you can read from my cover memo, you're all familiar with the multi-use trail project. It's a project that this council has approved. We have a contract in force with Stantec to do the design work related to this. One of the things that the town engineer has determined is that there is some work that needs to be done in state property that's under deep management, Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. So to do the environmental testing, get the machinery in there and do some boring. This is for the kind of environmental analysis, I think, relative to this. And so DEEP requires a license. That license carries with it some terms and conditions, which is why it's before the council. And you have the town attorney's opinion in this regard as well. So I'd ask that you please adopt this resolution so we can continue the project.
Okay, any other discussion? Voting on this resolution, all in favor? Okay. Jen, all in favor? I see Dee Dee, I see Jen. Okay, this
Yep, aye.
passes 8. Thank you, Kevin. This passes 8-0. B, Resolution 21-27, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding striker preventative maintenance agreement. Mr. O'Rourke?
I move for the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution number 21-27, resolved that Kenneth M. Kellogg, first selectman of the town of Monroe, is authorized to execute and deliver on behalf of the town of Monroe the ProCare Services Agreement, ProCare Product Service Plan Agreement, Stryker terms and conditions, and any associated documents by and between Stryker Sales Corporation for the Preventative Maintenance Program for certain EMS equipment.
Do I hear a second?
Alan Formicella, second.
Okay, thank you. Discussion, Mr. Kellogg?
Thank you. So Emergency Medical Services has been working to put together a comprehensive preventive maintenance program for some of our critical equipment. These are fairly high cost items that are used on a regular basis and involve direct patient care and movement. These are stretchers, something called power loads, which are the devices that basically connect the stretcher to the ambulance and secure it inside the ambulance. The stair chairs and the automatic chest compression devices made by Lucas. So they did a lot of due diligence to find various vendors There was only one that was able to really provide a comprehensive program that would cover all the equipment, most of the parts, including some of the high-cost parts, the batteries, labor and travel. Stryker was able to not only meet all the needs, but also quoted us a 4-year agreement, which would allow us to save $5,600 over the life of the agreement. The costs are within the current year and proposed fiscal year 22 budgets, and you have the town attorney's opinion here as well. So I'd ask that we move this forward so we can move forward with Stryker to conduct this maintenance. I'd also like just to know also that with the exception of the Lucas devices, these other pieces of equipment are also made by Stryker. So you have a manufacturer working on that equipment.
Okay, any other discussion? Voting on this resolution? In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, passes 8-0. C, Resolution 21-28, to consider and act upon a resolution regarding Town of Monroe pay plan for employees in classified service.
I move for the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution 21-28, resolve that pursuant to the town charter, chapter 10, section 3, the pay plan for employees in the classified service is hereby amended as presented by the first selectman, effective July 20th, 2021.
Okay. Second,
Callan Formica, second.
Keller. Discussion, Mr. Kellogg?
Thank you. So as I mentioned in prior meetings, our intent was to minimally an annual process where the pay plan is reviewed and revised as necessary kind of during the budget process, as that's where a lot of the salary and wage discussions occur. So you know that we made updates in the middle of the year. This process that I want to thank our HR director, Craig Hirsch, who's here this evening, for putting all this together. This kind of completes the one comprehensive pay plan for all positions that would be defined in the classified service. So there's 3 sections with it. The changes in section 1 are the addition of the economic department role. In the second section, these are revisions to all of the part-time positions, which have been brought up to contemporary rates based upon progressive CPI increases and analysis of those positions. And then the affiliated positions, which obviously are governed primarily by the collective bargaining agreements. So with that, I'd like to move this forward and answer any questions or have Mr. Hirsch answer any questions you may have.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
can I ask the first selectman a
Yes,
question?
sure.
Or actually make a statement? Thank you, Ken, because I know you and I had, it was really my only question about the budget were a couple of the salaries that were listed. So this is very helpful. Thank you very much, Mr. Select.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other discussion? Mr.
Madam Chair?
Moore?
Just one item on the Community and Economic Development Director during LNA. The selectman was kind enough to go through a couple of questions I had on that position being part of this pay plan, since we don't technically have a job description yet, and whether or not this should be included now or amended later to include this once we have a job description approved by the council. After the conversation with the selectmen, I agree that it is fine to have it in there now, but do plan on when we do go into approving the actual job description, just revisiting this to make sure that the salary as we see it now aligns with what the actual position entails once we get to that point. And if necessary, would ask this council to consider amending this pay plan at that time if we feel it is necessary based off of what the actual job description is.
Okay,
Very good.
voting on,
Oh, sorry, Enid, one last.
Madam Chair?
Sure.
One last question. The finance, I know we had this question before, but the finance, this is the current structure, and then we'll readjust the structure if we pass it in the next due time. We'll pass it, the updated financial numbers for the director.
Yeah, that is correct,
Yeah.
although I think everything contemplated would still fall within this range, but we could, I mean, again, yes, if that were necessary, same provision would apply.
Good.
I agree.
And Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just want to make sure, I thought it was, but the motion did include the amended resolution that it's effective July 1st. That's already was part of the record, correct?
Read it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yep, no, the original resolution was read as I requested. Thank you.
Okay, so voting on resolution 21-28, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this passes 8-0. We have D, the draft 2021-2031 Plan of Conservation and Development. Kellogg?
So, Madam Chair, I know that you have a communication from Rick Schultz, the town planner, who I believe is probably dialed in here anyway. I know you have Mr. Formicella, who was on the committee, and I know we have one of our planning and zoning commissioners, Mr. Condon, here tonight as well. Mr. Schultz referred the draft of the POCD to this council pursuant to state statute. It is not a requirement of the council to necessarily take any action. There's no required vote. It is simply a referral and an opportunity for the council to provide input to the Planning and Zoning Commission for their consideration prior to their final adoption of the new POCD. With that, again, they could be done as a body. They could be done, they would certainly entertain individual comments, which could be directed to Mr. Schultz or to the commission. Either way, they would get it to them, but certainly wanted to just have it on the agenda tonight. If anyone felt the need, they wanted to discuss anything or had any questions that Mr. Schultz could, or Mr. Formicella, who sat in on the committee, was on the committee for the update, could answer. I just want to take a moment to thank the commission, all the people that were on the committee, Mr. Schultz, just, a tremendous amount of work that was done in a very challenging fashion, and that a lot of meetings had to be virtual and hybrid, and just a lot of strong work there. So.
Okay, so questions of Mr. Schultz?
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, John? Mr. Formicella?
This isn't really a question. This is going off of the first selectman, thanking everyone that participated in this process. I just want to bring to everyone's attention, as we thanked him when he passed away, Bill Porter, former chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission, started off the process, and even before that, the Planning and Zoning Commission contracted with the firm that completed the Land Conservation and Development study, as well as putting together. I'd like to thank Bill Porter again for all his work on this, and I want to acknowledge Dr. Michael O'Reilly, who became chair of both Planning and Zoning and chair of the Land Conservation and Development Update Committee. He's done a wonderful job. He filled gigantic shoes of Mr. Porter and all the commission members and other advisory members that worked on this. And also I want to thank every member of the community that took time to participate in all these studies and questionnaires and came to the meetings when we were able to have them early last year. It was a wonderful thing to see. It was a wonderful thing to see everybody get their input in.
Thank you. Okay, any questions for
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mauer?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I echo Mr. Formicella's statements there of thanks. This really was quite the undertaking. And I will say that I thought this report was extremely thorough, detailed, and well thought out. My one statement would be just a recognition that this is a truly, of all the things we see come out because of the length of time, is truly a living document. And I'm sure this plan will continue to develop as each year goes by, even though we only get something like this every 10 years. But this is quite the starting point, and was very impressive to see. So thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Schultz? No?
Good.
Everyone says no. So I think we can go on.
No, go right on. Yep.
So thank you, Mr. Schultz.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Going on to E, Resolution 21-29, to consider and act upon a resolution authorizing a special appropriation from the Cornelia H.B. Rogers Memorial Fund for the Town Hall Gazebo Repair Project. So do I hear a second? I just did Mr. O'Rourke's. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Kellogg? I'm sorry.
Could someone introduce the resolution?
Yeah, you got to introduce the resolution. Read the whole resolution.
Okay, so
I move-
let me give Mr. O'Rourke back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. O'Rourke, I'm
I
sorry.
move for the adoption of the following resolution, resolution number 20-29, resolve that the amount to exceed 20,000 of the available restricted fund balance appropriated the Rogers Memorial Fund as necessary to complete the Town Hall Gazebo repairs project, which shall include replacement of the roof and repairs and/or replacement dome and trim, bluestone steps, and brick walkway.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a second?
John Formicella, second.
Mr. Formicella, discussion, Mr. Kellogg?
First, Madam Chair, if I could just clarify and if everyone agree that there is a Scrivener's error that should be resolution 21-29. Assume there'd be no objection to just making sure the minutes reflect the correct number.
Okay,
So thank you. The gazebo is,
I said 20. Well,
sorry,
I didn't use the sheet.
question or?
Nope.
No, okay.
I used 21.
I'm sorry?
I used 21.
You did, it's, the official wording was, this is what it goes by.
I think we can do it. Can we ask unanimous consent without objection that the resolution in the minutes reflect the Scrivener's error in the statement that it reads 21-29? Madam Chair, if you could just ask if there's any objection.
Okay. We have consensus? We want to vote?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mauer.
Perfect, thank you. So the gazebo is in need of work, which is probably not a surprise. There's been some discussion over this over time. Public Works Director, Mr. Nowacki, who I believe is on the call, has done the analysis on what we need to do there. The work is ready to go. This was a topic I wanted to bring up that I had mentioned in the SPC meeting to go over capital, that I was saying should have been put on the capital plan. But then I realized after the fact, the reason why it doesn't is we actually want to act upon it during the current fiscal year, i.e. now. We have the work lined up and ready to go. Mr. Nowacki has also presented this to the Historic District Commission, which has given their approval as well. We've talked about the gazebo repairs being in the past being done through the Cornelia H.B. Rogers Memorial Fund. That is a fund that was established back in 1911. It is in our town code. It has accrued a decent amount of income at this point in time. $56,000 is available. The ordinance allows it to be used for any town purpose that the town may from time to time authorize. This project is estimated at around $16,000. We just felt that, or I should say, I felt that given, you never know when you get into these projects, things can can change. That's why I've asked that the resolution to authorize amount up to 20,000, and that we would appropriate it from this fund. Obviously, anything that was not needed would remain in the fund. I think Mr. Nowaki's memo is included in your packet as well, which kind of shows some of the conditions there of the roof and of the kind of importance that we move on this sooner rather than later. So I think that's all I have on this topic. If there's any questions.
Any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Just a statement that I appreciate the that I agree this is a perfect use of these types of funds. So thank you for looking into a way to make this a budget neutral.
Yes, yeah, I mean, this is a way to get this project done at no cost to the taxpayers and,
And for an important focal point
a
of,
project in the town green gazebo.
Okay, any other discussion? So voting on this resolution, all in favor?
Aye.
there it is.
Everybody?
Yep, they said yeah.
Passes 8-0.
Yep.
On to the 21-22 budget.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that Chris?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that was
Thanks, Chris.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
All right. Yep, we're on the budget.
Okay. Madam Chair, can I just hand out the updated capital sheets real quick, just so you have them. Again, this always gets further refined with the process with Board of Finance. So, thank you. So strategic planning did see most of these changes. The two items in red for the Stevenson and Stepney Fire Department, these were revised numbers for their air packs. This might have actually been available during earlier meetings. This was just basically revised numbers based upon current information and pricing. And the only other change is on the second page. This was not, we did not discuss this during SPC. That's the town hall chiller and lighting upgrades. And I want to explain so this is something that Mr. Nowacki has been looking at for some time. And the long and the short of it is our HVAC system here in Town Hall is in somewhat urgent need of getting a new chiller in order to ensure that the air conditioning is not going to fail. They've been evaluating programs through Eversource to get energy efficient projects done at a lower cost. And this would qualify along with some lighting upgrades at Town Hall. The reason why it wasn't, this was just in our thought process, it did not initially come up on the capital plan, is you'll see that it's being carried here in the operating budget. And the reason is that we've been working on a solution that would allow us to get some energy incentives and also pay for this project over time out of operating, which would come out of operating instead. And so in our thought process, it did not come up for earlier conversation. However, this is a project that we are ready to move forward on and start this fiscal year. And I would be bringing to this council an agreement and all the associated information that would go along with it. Because it was being considered as an operating item at the time, we did when budgeting the Board of Finance contingency amount, this was contemplated at that point in time. So it is captured in the operating budget. It's just not in Public Works because at that time, it wasn't a real thing yet. It hadn't really come all together. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. And we'll talk about that at a future meeting when it's ready for consideration.
Mr. Kellogg?
Yes.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question? Can you be more specific about the amount that you're talking about, since we're voting on this tonight and we don't have a copy of what you just gave out?
Amount of that project?
Yeah.
So well, currently we're putting it in for the fiscal year 22 budget. It would be a $92,000 item. But again, this would be, it would be paid over several years. So in this case, that's an estimate over a 3-year. Typically, the council doesn't act on the capital budget during their, it's something that you can certainly make changes and modifications, but the final gets approved at Board of Finance. So there's still plenty of time to kind of work through the capital budget and make further adjustments.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly. That's all I had really of,
This is when
he
people
wants to.
discuss cuts or additions that they want to be done in the past, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So people can suggest what they want to cut. I guess Mr. Bonofsky's going to keep the account, know exactly what we're voting on at the end, just like we've done in the past. I'm just saying.
You can certainly make revisions that you want to pass along as it goes to Board of Finance, certainly.
Okay, so anybody have any questions?
Madam Chair, beginning on tab 15, page 76.
And we're going to vote on each, I'm sure you know, Mr. Mara, but we're going to vote on each one.
Yes, I have to do each one separately as its specific line item.
26?
Page 76 of tab 15. Motion to amend line number 10-101-150-0110-150630 HR insurance, downward $75,000 to a new total of $3,644,657.
Can you repeat that number?
Mr. Bonofsky, you're getting all this, correct?
I'm sorry?
Mr. Bonofsky?
Both myself and
I just don't,
Pete are getting that shit. Yes.
okay, because I don't,
So if
Okay,
we
'cause
may
I-
need to have you repeat stuff, but
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's clear that, because when we get a final amount, that's it, so.
Yep.
So let us know when you're set on each one.
He doesn't need to do anything right now. We haven't even voted on anything to make any changes to the current budget right now.
We're just in the discussion phase.
Yeah. He'll keep tally as we go along and then yeah.
Can we have discussion on this?
Do we have a second?
Yeah, we're gonna have a second, we're gonna have discussion, and then we'll vote on each item. So
I'll
do I hear a
second that.
Okay. Mrs. Martin seconding it. Discussion?
Madam Chair, if I may, on my motion.
And you'll be second.
So this is a downward adjustment of $75,000 on the HR insurance line per our discussions and the report from the HR director and the selectmen. We expect this to move downward even further than $75,000, but both stated that they were comfortable with a downward adjustment of at least $75,000, knowing that it's going to be at least under that. So I feel it's our due diligence to pass as honest of a budget as we can onto the Board of Finance. And since we know that it will be at least that number, pass that number to the Board of Finance with the understanding that they could adjust further if needed.
Okay, any other discussion on this motion? Mr. Formicella?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Though I agree with Councilmember Mauer that the first selectman and HR director did inform town council that there were potential savings on the HR insurance line. My interpretation of the first selectman's comments and HR director's comments is a little bit different than Mr. Mauer. The HR director and Mr. Kellogg gave us a range of potential savings at this time in March. The final numbers will not be available until April, when the budget will be in the hands of the Board of Finance. I believe that because we do not have an exact number, or really anywhere close to an exact number, that we should pass this line as presented by the first selectman, because we cannot nail down a specific number to cut from this budgeted.
Okay, so we can vote on Mr. Mauer first. If that doesn't pass for some reason, then we'll, your suggestion, and we'll vote on that. Agreeable?
Madam Chair, I will
No.
not make a motion.
Madam Chair, if we may, we have the HR director. If we could ask, is it your understanding that the insurance line will be decreased by a number of at least $75,000, if not more?
The initial that we got right now was a preliminary range, and right now we do not have a definite number. We wouldn't have clarity to April, is my understanding. First time going through this process, but what was given to me by our insurance partners, Lockton and so forth, was a preliminary number. So that's hence the range at this time.
When you're saying that's the range, are you saying what is the range up to what was originally done, or is the range given the 3,644,732, or is the range the new number at the minus 75,000?
The range in the sense when I talk about is the preliminary dropping the percentage. So what we think, if they're going to drop it down from the 8% or so down to maybe like 4 or 5%, so giving that range. So once we know what that is, then we can actually give a number to it.
So from your perspective, is it appropriate right now to lower the number in to the approximately 3,569,000, or should the numbers remain the same until we get a harder number?
I would say at this time it's better to wait until our number to make any changes. But
Madam Chair, I withdraw my motion.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, this is Finance Director Panofsky, if I could just add something to that. There's going to be a similar adjustment on the Board of Ed, which will be taken up at the time the budget is with the Board of Finance. So both sides will be looked at again at that time.
Okay, thank you. Our this motion. Anybody else have any comments?
Madam,
Yeah, so I know you have more than one.
Madam Chair, tab 26, page 148.
It's actually tab 27.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tab 27, page 140. Good thing that wasn't part of the motion. For motion to amend line 10-10-1513-0440-153385, the fire marshal office expense, down $500 to $1,400.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Martin, okay. Discussion?
Madam Chair, this is per the report of the director and the selectmen upon the line of questioning about whether or not there were some savings that could be had by utilizing some of the expenses from this year early instead of using budgeted expenses from next year. They determined that yes, there were, and that a downward adjustment of $500 would be acceptable.
Okay, any other discussion? So voting on this motion, who's in favor of it? Okay,
Sure, yeah, yes.
okay.
Aye.
And go back, Dee Dee. Okay, and Jen, okay, so this one passes 8-0. Going on, Mr. Mauer?
Tab 28, page 153.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Okay.
Motion to amend line 1001-10-10-0450-153390, the emergency management operating expense, upward $3,904 to $7,654.
Can you repeat that?
I have them all for you.
Cool.
So that one went, how much would that, could we,
Up $3,904 to a total of $7,654.
okay, great, okay. Do I hear a second for this one?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. In discussing the budget with the department head here, we were given the understanding that the UASI expense was actually higher than originally budgeted for, and the actual costs come to that 7,654. So in order to budget properly for it, it's appropriate for the council to up that number to cover the actual costs.
Okay, any other discussion?
I'll just add, that was based upon an invoice that had arrived that day. And an invoice for this year and a projection for next year. So,
Paul McKell, I think you were going to
Mr. Kellogg answered my question that he was comfortable
Okay.
with my number.
Any other discussion? So all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
So this passes 8-0. Going on,
Also tab 28, but page 157. Motion to amend line 10-1-10-1503-0460-153-385, the EMS office expense, down $500 to $3,000.
okay. You'll hear a second on this one.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion, Mr. Mauer?
Madam Chair, thank you very much. Much similar to the other downward expense with the office expense for the fire marshal, upon discussion with the department head and the selectmen about whether there were some savings that we could have due to the lower coming in so far under budget with this year and being able to pre-purchase, they found that it was appropriate and that they could do with a $500 cut, bringing the total budgeted amount to $3,000.
Okay, any other discussion? Mr. Formicella?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My interpretation of the information that Chief Smith and the First Selectman gave is a little bit different than Mr. Mauer. I don't believe Chief Smith agreed to a reduction in any office expenses, for my memory, and that there were other reasons why the actuals were so low this time, including, I believe, an unexpected retirement this year. That may have had some effect on that. And he did not believe, my understanding of what he said, that any reduction in office expenses was warranted.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes?
My recollection was that was in regards to the operating expense discussion, not the office expense discussion.
Yeah, either way. So we can vote on this, and if you're against it,
Madam Chair, I think we just have a disagreement on whether or not he agreed to it or not. My interpretation is he did not. Councilmember Mauer's interpretation was that he did in fact.
so we're going to vote on this motion. All in favor? What to do? I'll vote.
I'm an aye.
Okay. 3 ayes. Okay, against it? 1, 2, Kevin is 3,
Against.
Tony is.
So against, oh, yeah.
So this was a 3 to 4.
4 to 4, Madam Chair.
Well, Jen doesn't have a hand up or
She
anything.
had her hand up for the ayes.
Okay, fine, thank you. So this vote is 4 to 4, therefore it's a tie.
And the
Nothing
motion
happened.
Goes
fails.
down,
Yeah.
correct? Yes.
Coin toss?
Okay, all right. Next, Mr. Mauer?
Yes, Madam Chair, tab 30, page 176.
30.
30.
What was the page?
176. Motion to amend line 10-109-1500-0700-153385, the health office expense line, downwards $774 to a total of $2,400.
Okay, do I hear a second for that? Second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Aguilar? All right, discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, similar to the other items with office expenses, this was discussed with the specific department head and the selectmen. And based off of savings, if my memory serves me correctly, in the toner cartridges area, they felt that there was a savings of $774 towards next year's budget that could be cut off of here.
Okay, any other discussion? So all in favor of this motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we have a 8-0 passing. Next, Mr. Mauer?
That is all for my motions, Madam Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else have any motions?
No.
Actually, we're cutting the budget 5178, if I'm correct.
What do you get?
Got,
Finance Director.
a change of 5170.
Madam Chair?
Madam
That's
Chair,
all.
I have a question real quick.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ron.
Oh, I said
The
sure.
EMS office expense, that did not pass?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay,
That was a push.
Madam Chair, if you're ready for a final resolution, may I just ask that Mr. Banowski just confirm the adjustments that he is incorporating prior to his final calculation, just so we're.
And the net, what the net is too, yeah.
Sure.
So what I've got is I've got a downward adjustment of $500 to fire marshal office expense, an upward adjustment of $3,904 to emergency management operating expense, and a downward adjustment of $774 to health office expense, and that's it.
39, oh.
So that's a net increase of $2,630. And it brings the total municipal expenditure budget to $31,493,219, which includes all municipal operating expenditures, Board of Finance contingency, and other appropriations.
Okay, thank you.
Can you repeat the the adjustment up, the total adjustment up again. What was that number?
3904.
$2,630.
Okay.
Okay, so we're voting.
$31,493,219.
Got it.
Madam Chair, just if I can have about 1.5 minutes before we move on to a final motion to just look at something.
I guess so, sure. So you'll do the motion. Okay. So look, I'm just curious. This thing says 2129.
Do that.
No, I'm talking about the previous things. 2029.
Where is that one?
That's the Gazebo.
Where's my 29?
That's the Gazebo. It was typed in 29. I read that. They said no, it was 20. Higher number than my income.
Just get her something to put her on. Here, turkey. Bacon. Jesus.
In the back. Mrs. Dio, do you want to get on this maybe eventually? Okay, we're ready whenever you are, Mr. Mauer.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll make the resolution 21-30. Brooke?
Resolution 21-30, titled to consider and act upon a resolution to approve town council's proposed budget and to forward the budget to the Board of Finance. I move for the adoption of the following resolution. Resolution 21-30 resolved pursuant to Chapter 8, Charter, what is that again?
Section 4.
What is that? Section 4, excuse me. Monroe Town Charter, the town council approves the total municipal expenditure budget of $31,493,219, which is hereby forwarded to the Board of Finance.
John Formicella, second.
Okay, thank you. Discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I would just like to, commend the department heads, the selectmen, and the council for really doing the work on this budget. It's the town side, the adjustments here were so minimal, but it is important to continuously look at each line item and see if and where we can find savings or where we might need more money. So I appreciate the indulgence in all of those avenues. I would like to say to the finance department, as we get this budget, obviously there's the HR insurance lines, but there's also probably some other items to be looked at, and we appreciate all the work that I'm sure the finance department will do on finalizing this budget.
Side of the council hall where people on, and all of a sudden there's this big white face. She comes up, she was trying to get my food.
Madam Chair, if I could just,
Yeah, sure.
I just want to echo the comments to our heads that put tremendous amount of time into this, particularly
I think I'm on the.
Speed, who really, as always, worked many late hours and weekends on this.
We had
with a-
enough time together.
So I know that what went into this.
Pretty screwed up my screen. I don't know what is going on.
Dee Dee, you're live, Dee Dee. Okay. I couldn't figure out who it was at first. That's why I didn't say it. So I just want to echo the thanks to the department heads and particularly the finance. And I also just want to thank this council for their respect, and I appreciate the due diligence that has to be done here. I think this has been it was a very seamless, I felt a very seamless and efficient budget process this year. It continues, at least in my perspective, I think everyone continues to work together in a very efficient and effective way. So I appreciate all the hard work.
Okay, so I'm adjourning this meeting at 9:13.
We need to vote.
We need to vote and second public participation.
Oh, we don't want to miss.
I thought, no, I don't think you're right. Okay, so we have a second. Do we have a second to this motion?
Yeah,
Okay, we've had a discussion. So all in favor of this budget?
Aye.
Okay, I wonder if Dee Dee's off because she.
Dee Dee?
it's Martin.
I
She
see
has
the
some iffy Wi-Fi.
Can you just call her?
I'll
Jen,
call
really?
her. I'll call her.
Can you hear me now?
There she is. We got her.
Now we can.
Okay, yes.
But so
Do we get Kevin?
Yeah, he did say, yep,
He was good.
came on.
And
motion on the
Jen, she raised her hand.
8-0.
all right,
Thank you.
Good.
And
we good.
adjourning,
Second public
Participation, second one.
beg your pardon?
Second public participation.
Yes, of course. Anyone came in lately? Any second public participation? No one? Okay, thank you. So we're adjourning at 9:14 PM.